Hi, everybody. John Barrett, CEO of ZKR Orthopedics. Allison just said she's the only redhead in the room. I actually used to be a redhead, so I'm going to count myself in that category. ZKR was formed to address the millions of people out there with chronic knee pain, at least a subset of those millions of people. We're developing a procedure non-invasive outpatient procedure to use implants to take care of a certain condition. For all the people that don't want to get here. So the nice thing about knee pain is it's very relatable. Everybody in here either has their own knee pain or knows somebody with knee pain. That's an extremely common condition that unfortunately doesn't have a lot of great opportunities to fix. So our procedure is going to be an implant-based procedure to place implants on the upper tibia to interact with the patellar tendon to relieve the pressure on the joint. This is a group of people involved. So Jeff Halbricht is a sports medicine doc in San Francisco. Spent his career focused on patellofemoral issues, and he's been thinking about this a long time, and has filed lots of patents and done lots of work in this area. So we're going to make it happen. Myself, I've been in the business for 25 years. I had a previous orthopedic implant company that we built up and had a successful outcome with Stryker, and Damien's another industry pro. Jack Farr and Beth Schubenstein are very, very well-known researchers in the patellofemoral world. Both of these two are very well published. Jack in particular has been involved with a lot of early stage therapies and also is very involved in the reimbursement side with the American Association of Orthopedic Surgeons. So here's the condition we're treating, patellofemoral osteoarthritis, otherwise known as chondromalacia. And it's essentially the cartilage under the kneecap is disappearing and inflamed, and that's what creates a lot of direct knee pain. And obviously, it's particularly acute in activities and in stair climbing. Now, this is not the disease of the old necessarily. It could be. There's 60, 70-year-olds that have this, but often it's young. It's athletes that develop this condition in their 30s or 40s. And obviously, they don't want to have total knee replacements yet. And so they're looking for any kind of solution right now. So for now, it's conservative therapy, drugs, PT, shots, whatever. And we know that eventually these don't work. They don't solve the problem. They just kick the can down the road, as it were. So right now, you end up in surgery. So total knees, partial knees. Everybody knows the potential complications there. And again, when you're young, you don't want that. Osteotomies is another option that happens today. So osteotomies are very common, but it's a very invasive surgery. It involves bone cuts and bone grafts to essentially move the patella tendon around to redirect it. And Fulkerson, for example, is one of the most common procedures for osteotomies, and they have success. There's 80 to 90% success rates in lots of literature, and so that's great, but it's a tough procedure. Surgeons don't love to do it. It's hard. Patients don't like to receive it. It's painful, long recovery time. But when you're through all that, you can actually have a better outcome. So what are we doing? We are trying to mimic the success rates of the osteotomy procedures without all the complications. So that's what our solution is. So we have a variety of implants that mimic what these osteotomies are doing. But it's a quick procedure, outpatient, reversible. This can come out easily. Total knee is not reversible. Osteotomies are not reversible. Different implant sizes, shapes to lift the patella, to tilt the patella, or whatever you may need. This is sort of a quick animation to show you what's happening. So now as the implant is just slipped in below the patella tendon, it has the effect of lifting the patella or tilting the patella, whatever implant we decide to use. And that takes the pain away and takes the inflammation away. And that is essentially what the osteotomy procedures are all doing, some version of this. So what's the market? Lots of patients, obviously. 15 million patients with knee osteoarthritis. They're undergoing some kind of therapy right now. Then they move into the 5 million that have been doing conservative therapy for quite some time. It's not working. It's getting worse. They got to do something, but they don't want to do something. They don't want to get to complex surgery, which is the total knee in the osteotomy world. So that 5 million crowd, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at that group. And about 20% of those, 1 million patients, are isolated patellofemoral patients. So that's the crowd that we are addressing. 1 million patients, obviously, double that internationally. This is US market. So regulatory-wise, we've been talking to the FDA. We're pursuing a de novo pathway. We're talking about pivotal trials. We're in those discussions. Reimbursement, we've had discussion with some of the societies already. We're trying to get early. Very good panel today on reimbursement, by the way, so it was something that's very appropriate for us. So what's our trial? We're gonna do a first-in-man trial, early feasibility trial. We're gonna start that in the next couple months. We're all ready to go. So now it's just a matter of getting one final approval, and we'll start doing patients. We're gonna do 15 patients. This is a safety trial primarily. So we're gonna look for freedom from device-related complications for 6 months. But we're gonna track these patients for a couple of years, and we're gonna collect everything. We're gonna collect pain scores. We're gonna do imaging studies throughout the 2-year period. But really just typical first-in-man trial goals: implant safety, design features, patient selection, et cetera. So what are we doing? 3 months, we're gonna commence our feasibility study. We like to complete enrollment in 6 months. And once we have some safety data, then we're gonna talk to the FDA about what that pivotal trial needs to look like. By the end of this year, we're gonna look for a financing, an A round. We're funded all the way through this trial. And a year from now, we'd like to begin a pivotal trial for US approvals. Obviously, patents have been filed. We filed a bunch of patents last year as well. Jeff's been working on this for a little while. This is one comparable that had come up recently. Orthospace was a company, Israeli company, that was acquired by Stryker, and they had an implant that sort of offloaded the shoulder joint in a very similar way to take away the pain and inflammation by offloading the joint. They were pretty efficient about their capital, did a lot of implants in Europe and Israel, and they were acquired before they even had US approval. So it's possible to get these acquisitions done in orthopedics earlier. That's been the knock on orthopedics, of course. You had to get traction in the US. So what's the strengths here? Big market, capital efficient. That's what we've been. I've done this before. But fundamentally, it's a great, simple procedure where one doesn't exist today. There's a lot of surgeons out there, out in the community, that they have these huge patient populations with knee pain, patellofemoral pain, and they've got nothing to do for them. So we're going to give them a procedure that they can do. The patients will gravitate towards a less invasive procedure. No one wants to get a knee replacement. Everyone is searching for something. I mean, I've been to so many knee meetings now where there's talk and talk and talk, but there's no real good solutions. The best and the brightest in the knee world still struggle. And so that's what we're trying to do here, offer a great solution. Thank you very much.